Hello YouTube, Alan back with another video, and we're going to have another quick package and pickups video, hopefully. Well, no hopefully, it is a package and pickups video. The hopefully is for quick. So, a couple of videos ago I did, I got some game box protector things, and it didn't work out all that great. The seller was great about it. He refunded me my money, even left the stuff. He was real, one of the best I've experienced on eBay, and I've had a lot of crap eBay sellers of late, but I didn't really like the product. So I got a bunch of recommendations in the comments suggesting my Game Vault in the UK. Said, okay, they were a little pricey compared to some other people on there, but I said I'll try them out, and so I did. I got some more game protectors. Now I got about 25. There's most of them are over there, but this is how they come. They're actually covered in a sheet of film, and they are definitely thicker. You can feel in your hands they're much sturdier. They're 0.5 mil instead of 0.3, and that extra 2 mil does seem to make a difference. So one thing that a few people commented on was some saying go for the traditional 2-flap opening, another saying not to do that, get the standard one. So by default the boxes come like this. You may notice this side here would be a standard flap opening. You can see it even though it's not folded into shape. I'm going to fold them now. So now this one actually still has its cellophane cover, which you probably can't tell in camera, and I'm not going to try and take it off now because it's tedious. But when you fold them out, you see there's still a little flex compared, but nothing like the other one. It's a lot sturdier. Now this will be your standard box opening. Folds in. Oops. And you have your little, folded on top of itself, and that's your corner done. Normally you'd have the exact same on the other side, but this is a bit different. It doesn't have a traditional flap. So what you do is, if I get this right, it tries to fold flat. It kind of clips in on itself. Try to get this in. The last bit is kind of awkward because you have to try and fold this in. There we go. And it does. That's done roughly, but you can kind of see that it doesn't. There's no way to open it back up on that end. You open it on the one end, and that might seem like a disadvantage. Well, I don't want to open them both, but the idea behind it is that when you have a game in the box, you won't. When you push the game down, it won't catch on the edge of the flap. So this flap here kind of sticks into the box. When you push a game down, it can catch. Just catch it as you're going in. I said, okay, well that makes sense. So when you open that back up, you can properly flatten the inside like that, and it becomes kind of more of a straight edge. Of course, you've got to get some games to go into these box protectors. And I picked up another N64 game during the month, and one I've been looking for quite some time for a decent price, and that's Doom. Doom 64. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, as an example, you just, where we go, slip it in. And now it's flat onto the edge. There was nothing to catch it. Fold it over and seal it in. Well, we'll try and seal it in. So, fairly robust. There's no kind of flopping about with the plastic. It seals quite nicely. There's still a little bit of air in it, but that actually eases down over time. My only little gripe about these boxes now, I haven't put this in the way I normally put my games in, because I wouldn't have the flap to the front. It can be a little awkward because the plastic is that bit harder to actually get the game back out. Because normally I'd be inclined to go at the edges, and if you're opening a flap on a box, you always should go for the edges. If you go for the center, you're just going to damage the flap. But sometimes I just find it a little bit awkward. But anyway, this time it opened fine. So that was my Game Vault. They seem to work out quite nicely. Here's actually the one that I had Doom in. Bit of hair on it from the old dogs. So yeah, it holds its shape quite well. Definitely a big improvement. So thank you to everyone for the tips to try out my Game Vault UK. As I said, they were a little more expensive, but to be honest, the quality does seem to be there. So you kind of get what you pay for. So moving on from box protectors to the game itself. As I said, I've been looking for Doom 64 for a while. I've been on an N64 kick for a while now. Doom was one that I kind of passed over back in the day because I had the likes of GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and so on. And to a certain degree, it seemed a little old hat. It was. It's very retro. But I wanted to pick it up to try it out because I like Doom. I've played Ultimate Doom and Final Doom and whatnot. I'm not great at the game by any means, or the games, but I always loved the kind of relative simplicity of it. And what a lot of people don't realise is, even though it's called Doom, and people just say Doom 64 as Doom on the N64, this is a completely new game. They really undersold it. This is a brand new Doom game. It's actually closer to Doom 3 than Doom 3 was, given that it still kind of has a much closer feel to the Doom formula. So this was up on eBay, and it was something like £20 delivered, or was it 21, something like that, which for Doom in a complete box, in a decent condition, not perfect, but good enough for me. Very pleased to get that. It was by now, so I just bought it straight away. Manual and card and whatnot in good condition, and tray. I found it weird that some of the third parties went with this kind of plasticky tray instead of the cardboard tray. If they're going with plastic, why didn't they do plastic boxes, I guess? But just makes it a little more tricky to replace. If you were doing a replacement, you'd end up replacing the with a cardboard one, not an original plastic one. But anyway, so game, I've been playing it a decent bit the last week or so. Very, very hard. It's definitely kind of, as it kind of expects you to have played, say, Doom 1 at the very least. So you're kind of used to the gameplay, and it kind of ups the challenge. And incredibly dark. If you look at YouTube videos of the game, you will barely be able to make out anything. There is a gamma control setting in the game that's set to half in the European version. It's set to 0 on the American version, which is ludicrous. I have to turn it all the way up to maximum, and then on my television, I have to turn my television's brightness up quite a bit too to see anything. I don't know what they were thinking. I know they wanted it to be dark and atmospheric, and they mentioned that in the manual, but there's dark and atmospheric, and this is a visual medium. I would like to see something, please. Now, they also, I suppose, changed the type of... They were going more for the atmosphere. So in the original Doom, you have the kind of fast action music, get you going. This one, they've completely done away with that. I think his name's Audrey Hodges or something like that. It's very atmospheric and really does kind of work with the sound design really well. So you can hear the enemies from a distance, and it really does kind of freak you out because you're, where the hell are they? Well, literally, they're in hell, actually. That's where they are. So, it does seem like a very good Doom game. Now, some parts of Doom definitely have, they are outdated in terms of, it can be so easy to get lost. You go from A to B, you press the switch, something happens somewhere, and you kind of wander around the level until you find what that something was, or you start humping every wall, because that's what it sounds like when you press the action mode, until you find a secret panel or something like that. So it can be a little archaic in that aspect, and not as concise personally as I think, say, Doom 1 or 2 would be, but it is definitely, if you like Doom, well worth checking out. Going more up there in price. It's one of those games I've seen sell for 50 quid in good box condition. So I maybe just didn't sell as well, because by 1997 people were possibly past Doom. People who had an N64 were probably playing Turok and GoldenEye and thinking, well, Doom, that was so 1993, and not realizing this was a brand new game. So anyway, that's Doom on the N64. Now, I picked up one game just a few days ago, actually, just before St. Patrick's Day, and that was from a local game store, and that's Yoshi's Story on the N64. As you see, I have it nicely in my box protector, and kind of demonstrates just how nice they can be. So, this is all complete, and again, just to take them out, if I put one hand there, it's very hard to get it out. Even with two, it's very hard to get. That's the only little thing. It can be actually quite tricky to get your game back out. So if you're playing them like I am with Doom, I'll leave it out of the protector until I finish playing, then it goes back in. So here we go, Yoshi's Story on the N64. The follow-up to Yoshi's Island, kind of a controversial follow-up, because it didn't follow the same formula as Yoshi's Island. It went with the pre-rendered graphics. So we have the little catalogue thing. I love this catalogue back in the day. Oh my god, I looked at this so much, and I owned a fair chunk of the game even back then. So on one side you got the N64 one, and it had Mario 64, Banjo Kazooie. Although underneath that one it says subject to change. Diddy Kong Racing. So I had all three of those. Yoshi's Story, and never had that back in the day. GoldenEye 007 and Kobe Bryant's NBA Courtside. The only one there that I never played or anything back in the day. And then the secondary titles were Blast Corps, Bomberman 64, Cruising USA, Killer Instinct, Tetrasphere, Lilac Wars, Mario Kart, Mission Makers, Pilot 164, Snowboard Kids, Shadows of the Empire, and Wavelet 64. So I played most of those either back in the day or today, and that's a fairly solid lineup. Of course, you have to have all the controllers and stuff on that side too. I love the fact that it looked like a spaceship, the N64. And the other side was the real moneymaker for Nintendo, frankly, back then. It was the Game Boy. So what were they doing on the Game Boy? They were doing... Oh, was the Game Boy Color at this point? Was it? Yeah, some of these look like Color, but it's actually not. It's just the Super Game Boy pictures that they've got. Because they have Pocket Bomberman, which is in Color, but this isn't the Game Boy Color yet. And there you go. Hot Price Classics. Link's Awakening, Kirby's Dream Land. Link's Awakening. I was watching a video by Nostalgia Nerd, and he was basically doing a commentary on an episode of Bad Influence, and they reviewed Link's Awakening and gave it like 3 out of 5. I was like, what were they thinking? That's a great game, especially for Game Boy. Like for that sort of action adventure game on a Game Boy, it's certainly better than 3 out of 5. They're crazy people. They give other crap games like 4 and 5 out of 5, and that 3 out of 5. Anyway, side topic. I love these catalogs. So what else did they have? Then we have the warranty thing and the instruction manual. So all this was in perfect condition. You see the tray with Yoshi's Story. As I said, Yoshi's Story was one of those games that was interesting departure from the SNES game. Everyone really rated the SNES game, but the N64 one kind of got a mixed response. The graphics changed. It was even more kind of cute and kid friendly with the singing Yoshis and stuff. But more to the point, the game mechanic changed. So per each level, you have to basically collect 30 fruit, and if you collect 30 fruit, you go on to the next level, and so on. The real challenge in terms of replayability was to try and get 30 watermelon. Now, when I played it back in the day, I got it off my friends just for Lent. I didn't do the watermelon stuff or anything like that. So I finished the game very, very quickly. And I remember thinking, wow, there's not much to this. For a Nintendo game, it kind of seemed rather lacking. And that's actually partly why I wanted to pick it up and try it again, because I know now that, I missed a good chunk of the point of the game. And I think it's one of those games that probably requires a little bit of effort put into it to actually get the most out of it. It's a bit unusual because Nintendo games are normally so pick up and play and kind of appealing so readily, but by and large it seems that when you actually get into it, it's quite well rated and quite enjoyed, but just compared to a lot of other Nintendo games, it missed the mark on some of those things. So this is next up on my queue after Doom, which is like literally, could you have some more diametrically opposed games? Doom and Yoshi. Da, 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 da. Anyway, you gotta kind of have a bit of yin and yang in your collection, I guess. So we have Yoshi and Doom for that. But there we are. That's my N64 pickups, and finally getting those box protectors sorted out. So yeah, if you're looking for box protectors, it does seem to be the place to go. And I personally had no problem with this closing flap. Bit odd to begin with. I couldn't figure it out. I had to look up video. How do you put these in? But to be honest, it's much of a muchness, whichever you fancy is. Your mileage may vary, whatever other phrases you might want to say. So anyway, we leave it there. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll chat together with another one. And I've lost the ability to talk, so definitely time to end it. See you soon. Bye for now.